Hello everyone, welcome to This Day and Happy New Year. Welcome to 2021. Today is Saturday, January 2nd. We hope you are having a wonderful New Year weekend. All right, on our show today we have Orange County Sheriff's Department's investigator David Weiss, and then we also have a library update, just so you know how you can check things out during our COVID-19. Let's go ahead and go to our resources that we normally do for you. We have covid19.ca.gov where you can follow along with the governor's plans, ochealthinfo.com. They have a county hotline, which is 714-834-2000. And of course, you could always go to our website, which is lagunawoodsvillagealerts.com, where we will update that on a regular basis. And if you have any questions or comments, you could email us at info@lagunawoodsvillage.com. Let's go ahead and take a look at our weather. It is looking nice, no rain, and we are looking at partly sunny skies today with a high of 65 and an overnight of 49. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, 65, 48. Then we are looking at clouds, 65, 48 as well on Monday. And our sunrise and sunset, the sunrise this morning was at 6:56, and the sunset will be just a little bit later at 4:55. Now, when we come back, we will have Orange County Sheriff's Department investigator David Weiss. So stay tuned.
By staying home, the community of Orange County has made a difference. But doing so shouldn't mean putting your own health at risk. Hogue wants you to know that safe, quality care is available. Don't ignore or delay the medical attention you need. From routine checkups to revolutionary treatments, Hogue is here for you, just as we have been for almost 70 years. Like no other time before, your healthcare choices matter. Get the care you need from the name you trust.
Welcome back. Well, today I have investigator David Weiss with us, who's with the Orange County Sheriff's Department. And right now is a high time for scams online. And so I thought I would have David here to talk to us a little bit about some of those scams. Well, David, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So as I mentioned in the intro, you know, we've got scams out there and a lot of them are done through email and a variety of other ways. So can you kind of walk us through some of the various scams that we should be on the lookout for, and starting with, you know, something that is kind of tied to our heart, more of on our emotion side of things?
Absolutely. I could say, if I could drive one point home, and I'll say this at the beginning and at the end as well, don't trust, always verify. Scams always operate on this need to change people's rational decision-making and prey on people's emotions. This can come on a variety of forms, relationships that are developed distance over the internet, the idea that there's a sense of urgency involved, like you need to act now or this deal is going to be gone forever kind of thing, or even a sense of compassion or care for someone that may be appearing to be in need.
Okay. Now, would this be done more on an email basis or over the phone?
We're seeing a trend less on phone type scams. A lot of these now are digital just because it's easier and they can target more people more quickly. So I would definitely be wary of emails from people that are either unknown or even times from people that you do know. And I would say the best way to combat that is to just pick up the phone and contact that person directly rather than being quick to hit that reply button.
Yes, well, you know, many times we do hit that reply button, or there's a link of some kind, and then that isn't necessarily a scam, but could be malware.
Absolutely. There are a couple of things you can do to check and to increase your security. One of the things you want to do is look at some peer-reviewed sources. So the old adage of if it seems too good to be true, it generally is still rings true here. Fortunately, because of the internet, we also have resources in the form of Google reviews, we have Yelp reviews, we have Better Business Bureau reviews. And even if that doesn't necessarily appear in any of those searches, something you can do is even just type the scenario into the Google search bar. And if it's a scam, it's likely that somebody else has also encountered a similar circumstance, and you'll be able to read people describe that online. One other thing that I'd like to point out too is that legitimate websites nowadays use a secure form of addressing. So traditionally there was the HTTP : and then www.fieldnocompany.com. Now there's a secure form, so it's the HTTPS. And what that does is it encrypts traffic between your computer and the company, and it also establishes a form of legitimacy because not everybody can apply for this kind of certificate.
So would major corporations have the HTTPS, especially if you're buying things?
Absolutely. I would say that's a gold standard.
Okay. All right, great. So if we, let's say we signed up for something somewhere down the line and we get this email that is kind of alluding to that, but we don't really remember that we signed up for it. What are some of the red flags that you would see in some of those emails that we should be aware
of? Believe it or not, a lot of them are characterized by misspellings, poor grammar. A lot of these originate overseas. And I actually read somewhere once that they use that almost as a screening technique because they don't want the people that are razor sharp focused on the email to reply, right? They want the folks that are going to quickly glance over and kind of or in a hurry and think that, oh, this is a great idea at the time, and they'll just click on it. Something very easy to do to also protect yourself is when you're making payments, try to use a credit card. Mm-hmm. The reason being is that you're essentially borrowing somebody else's money, and a lot of credit cards come with a fraud protection associated with it, which is different than paying out of your own bank account, which is your money.
Right. Wow. So let's also talk about some of the other scams that we have, like fake check scams, what does that mean?
Absolutely. A very common type of scam that we see here in Orange County is a overpayment scam. A lot of these originate on Craigslist or eBay or some of these other service-oriented type sites where somebody creates an account and will either make us a payment or offer some kind of service, and they receive a check for significantly more than the amount that was offered. And the scam goes like this. You deposit the check, and then I send you an email and say, hey, don't worry about it. Just pay me the excess, and we'll call it even. The problem is because it takes some time for the bank to reconcile the check and all the money. The person will walk away with the money having written a fraudulent check. In order to protect yourself on this, something very easily that you can do is, again, just don't give in to that sense of urgency. If you deposit the check and you feel like it's a legitimate check, just wait the amount of days that it takes to clear. And after the check clears in the bank and after everything's said and done, then move forward from there. Or if there's any question, just call law enforcement, or even just don't deposit the check altogether and just return the check.
Oh, okay, good. And then how about, gosh, you've won a prize, or, oh, and that secret shopper one actually threw me when I saw that on your slide. I went, wait a minute, I thought that was real.
Yeah. So as a general rule, you should never have to pay to win the lottery, aside from buying your initial ticket. That's another thing that we see are these scams where you have to pay in order to win something, or the IRS is calling and they want you to pay in the form of gift cards, or surprise, you have a warrant and the sheriff's department wants you to buy Apple iTunes gift cards. The government doesn't want gift cards, and the government will never communicate to you in that form. It's always going to be through official channels, through an actual legitimate process. If that ever does happen, I recommend immediately hanging up. Conduct your own research. All government agencies, prize entities, the lottery, their numbers are publicly available. Call them directly, and then inquire yourself as to if you're a winner, if you owe taxes, or anything along those lines.
Okay, and then let's talk about the secret shopper, because some of those do come over that seem very legitimate.
Absolutely. I would say in general, contact from anybody that you don't know that is encouraging you to make purchases on behalf of somebody else, or is part of any kind of chain of processes, it's probably prone for fraudulent type of activity, and you should be definitely cautious of it.
Okay. And then lastly, and I know you alluded to this earlier, was talking about how emotionally involved you can get with someone. And you said sometimes that can go on for weeks or months. Is this because they're trying to establish a trusting relationship and then also there's online dating scams too. So maybe you can kind of put those together.
Absolutely. A lot of scams do work based on trust. Keep in mind that a lot of scammers, this is their full-time job. They're after many people simultaneously, and if it takes them, 3, 4, even 10 months to effect a payment, they're going to put the time in to do that. I would say, in light of this, speak with your friends, your family, or even a trusted mentor, or worst case, best case scenario, speak with law enforcement and just describe your situation and try to get other people's advice. Because one of the things that people work on is this kind of isolated mindset, this kind of sense of privacy, trust building, and guarantee as soon as you speak with your friend or confidant or mentor, they'll be able to let you know that it's probably a scam.
And then help me understand the Google social media search. We were talking a little bit offline. How does that work, and how can someone do that?
Google has a tool called a reverse image search. Investigators use this tool. It's an open source tool that's also available to the public. Essentially what it does is rather than typing text into the search bar, you can upload an image. And then Google will use its computer algorithms to search the internet for similar types of pictures. Okay. I've found a lot of times with these relationship scams or just scams in general that have photos associated with them, when you upload them into Google image search, they're linked to multiple profiles. And that's always going to be a red flag.
Wow. Thank goodness we have something like that, especially if, with the world of social media and the online dating as well. I mean, many of our residents are doing that as well. And so you have to be really careful. So in closing, what are some thoughts?
Some thoughts, again, circling all the way back to the beginning, don't always trust, always verify. Just know that law enforcement's always available. If you ever wanted to schedule an in-person town hall meeting, that's something that we could arrange. And feel free to reach out to other people as needed. If you think that you're a victim of a scam, most likely you probably are, and just take very basic steps to protect yourself and use this as kind of a mentality moving forward.
And what would be the number that they would dial directly? It wouldn't be the main line. Is there a separate line for them?
If they wanted to, are you talking about if they wanted to schedule a meeting?
No, because, well, the town hall meetings we probably aren't doing right now because of the whole COVID thing. However, sure. If somebody does think that they have a scam they're dealing with, who do they call? So that's kind of the number I'm looking for.
Oh, sure. The Sheriff's Department has a non-emergency dispatch line. That phone number is 714-647-7000. And then if you follow the directory prompts, I think it's options 1, 9, and then 1 to speak to a dispatcher. You can have somebody come out and speak with you.
Okay. Now, do they have to physically meet with you, or can they talk to you over the phone?
No, if they did want to meet over the phone, that's also an option too. They would probably initially set up a request, and that would get routed to our fraud division. We would get to a callback.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking the time, and happy holidays to you.
Happy holidays. Thanks.
Thank you. And we'll be right back after this.
At Harvard Eye, we're so happy to be open again to see you for all your medical and surgical eye care. We're taking great care to protect everyone from COVID-19 by seeing fewer patients, spacing out chairs in our lobby, sanitizing our office constantly, and doing much more. The world is changing a lot, but what hasn't changed is we're honored by your trust and confidence and committed to keeping you safe. We can't wait to see you.
Welcome back. Today I am joined by Eileen Ordway, who is here on behalf of the Laguna Woods Library. Well, Eileen, it's been a while since we chatted. How are you doing?
Doing good, hanging in there.
Good, as we all kind of are. And I'm so glad that you are still able to provide our community the service of the library. Let's talk about some things that may have changed since we last talked.
Right, I think the biggest thing that changed for us is we expanded the amount of time that people can come to the library to pick up the items that they reserved. We were only doing it 3 days a week, and now we're back to 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, still 11 to 1 p.m. And those are for the reserves. We are still filling our outside cabinet and shelves with puzzles, paperbacks, and some hardback books, DVDs if we get them and we can't use them ourselves. And people can come to that 24/7 and take things home on the honor system.
Right. Now, are you receiving new things as well? Like, what are some of the new things you're getting?
Well, we actually purchase books and, well, movies are a little bit, or DVDs are a little bit hard to come by right now. I think because of the streaming services, they're not releasing them to DVD as much. But we do still purchase books and we get donations. And if we don't have them in our catalog, we will add them in. Recently, we actually added 12 that we haven't had before. And some of them are, it's kind of surprising, like classics, like Apollo 13, the original love story with Ryan O'Neal and Ally McGraw, Pulp Fiction, Mulholland Drive, or Mulholland Falls. I was really surprised to see that we hadn't had them. So,
That's great.
there's always something new to find in the library.
Right. That's awesome. That is great. Now, you know, we potentially could change regarding our circumstances in our state. So what are some of the things that you guys are doing going forward, like especially for the holidays?
Well, we have people, volunteers who won't be traveling or having people come to visit them for the holidays. And they were actually willing to come in and continue our daily routine. And we know that there's a lot of residents who also will not want to travel or have people over. So they could be alone. So we wanted them to know that we'll be there. They can still reserve items and pick them up on the holidays, the Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, and New Year's Day. It keeps us busy. So that was, you know, I had a couple of volunteers who are willing to do it. And hopefully it will help our residents stave off some loneliness. There's always a ton of DVDs.
Oh, good. Well, that's nice that you have people that would help you because, you know, that's a little difficult if everybody's trying to travel and get filler and things like that. So that's awesome. So you really don't have to close.
No, we'll just do our same routine, 11 to 1. We'll have our newspapers out on the patio, and so it'll just be like another day.
Okay, perfect. Now, what about your book clubs? Are you still going strong?
Yes, they're still meeting on Zoom. The second Monday of the month, the third Tuesday, and the fourth Wednesday. So it's 3 separate clubs. They each have their own reading list. And actually, during this time of the year, they are working on their selections for next year. So it's not too late for someone to get in on the book clubs, and they could be involved in the balloting process to select new things for next year. And we hope by early in 2021, we'll have a new brochure that will list all the books that have been selected for the year. And even if the people don't want to be involved in the book club, the book lists that they select are really excellent choices for people to reserve and take out and read. They really have mindful choices.
Now, when you have somebody that selects a book, do you have multiple copies of that book?
We try to. We make sure we have at least one, but we're also, as we get donations, we put them aside so that they can be left for the book club members. Sometimes they might have to go to Orange County to get a copy.
Oh, okay. Because I wondered, are you working with any services like Audible or any of those?
No. We are. We're looking into try and do ebooks for just for Laguna Woods residents. We're trying to figure out how much it would cost us to do something like that. Yeah. Especially because a lot of people are interested in large print books, and you know the Kindles and Nooks and those types of things. You can adjust the font. So it's perfect for people with vision problems. And we're starting to have a hard time getting the large print copies of the most popular books. They're kind of on the expensive side. So we're weighing our options. Our catalog system that we have, once we select an ebook vendor, they'll automatically connect to it for us for no additional cost. So that's a really good learning thing for us.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Now, if people are interested in participating in those book clubs, where should they email for the information?
Our email address is lwvillagelibrary@yahoo.com. It's an all-purpose email address. I'll forward it to Donna Dahl, who manages our book clubs, but you can use that to become a member of our library, to have catalog access. I can reserve items for people, help them renew books. So any question they might have about the library, lwvillagelibrary@yahoo.com.
Okay, excellent. Now let's talk a little bit about donations. Now, I'm wondering, obviously donation of books, but do you take donations other than books, like DVDs or maybe even cash?
Absolutely. The DVDs, yes, and CD books. We no longer take VHS tapes or books on tape. We got rid of them a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And as for monetary donations, absolutely, we would appreciate that. Luckily for us, we have had some bequests like that in the past, because right now we don't collect fines. We can't sell the extra donations that we get, which we had done in the past, and that helped us with purchasing the DVDs and even supplies like labels to put on our books, or due date cards or pockets to put them in. So we have some expenses, and so because we don't have those revenue sources right now, monetary donations would be really nice. We'd appreciate it.
Well, that might even help you with connecting with some of these services too, to be able to offset some of those costs as well. Tell me how the Saddleback College Friends of the Library is involved.
Well, we do get a lot of hardback donations, and if they're within, we take them and we compare them to what we have in our catalog. If we don't have it, and it seems like something that would be popular with our residents, we'll add it. We'll also compare it to what we have on the shelves. And if the donated copy is in better shape, we will exchange them. We'll take out the old copy and put in the new one. Also, if it's new and it's a really popular book and we have people waiting on the reserve list, we'll add them. So like Where the Crawdads Sing, we have 6 copies right now. Michelle Obama's Becoming, we have 4 or 5 copies. So we'll keep them on the shelves to get the reserve list down. But we do get a lot of things that we just can't handle. And sometimes the things are old and beat up, and nobody wants to throw out books. But so with the pandemic, the Saddleback College people, they shut down. Well, they will normally come and pick up those old books from us. Some they sell, the rest I'm not really sure what they do. But because they pick them up, it's really helpful. It gets hard for us at our age to lug boxes of books to
they're heavy.
Well, or very.
Yeah.
So it's been a godsend for us to have them. So now they're back. So we can take donations now, and our process can get back up to speed. Before, the books were piling up in our back room, we could hardly move. So that's why we were asking people to stop for a while. But now we're good. So we prefer things that are within 5 years. We'd really like large print, if anybody has them laying around, and political books. We don't like to spend our money or GRF money on political books, because we don't want to say, oh, we have more of this and more of the other side. And so if they get donated to us, we put them on the shelves, and then everybody's happy. So they're always good to donate.
Okay, excellent. Great information. Now, your little yellow card, tell me what they're representing.
Okay, so always in the past, we would have the due date on it, put it in the back of the book or in the DVD, so people would know when to return them. But with the closure, we had actually put into our system that the library was closed. We didn't want anybody to think that they could come in the door, but we also did not want to start calculating fines on people who might have to shelter in place and wouldn't be able to return their items.
Right.
But because of that, since we had no due date, people kept their things for a really long time, months. And even though we'd email them and we'd call them, and well, it's not due yet. So because of that, we turned our system back on, and now it will put a due date on the item. So we put in the little card in the back of the book to say when it's due. Okay. We are still not collecting fines, but if somebody keeps something longer than they should, our overdue process will kick in, and they might lose their privileges to check anything out until they return that item. So.
Right. Well, that makes sense. I mean, you're allowing longer than normal checkouts, which is great. But you know, you got to return it at some point. Somebody else might like it.
Exactly.
Well, I know that is rather difficult to keep on top of that, especially now, like you mentioned. Well, what else would you like to tell me about what's going on there?
Well, I think the only other thing is that, like I said, we are still adding to our collection. We've got those new DVDs, but we also have a lot of new books, like Bill O'Reilly's Killing Crazy Horse. Bill O'Reilly is really popular, so just wanted to let people know that that's available. Battle of Brothers, which is about the Princes William and Harry. Janet Ivanovich's new book, which is Fortune and Glory, Tantalizing 27. And Stuart Woods' Shake Up. Stuart Woods is our #1 top popular author. So
that's great.
Check out the catalog and you can reserve it. And don't forget, you can email lwvillagelibrary@yahoo.com. I'll be happy to add you in as a member. I'll be happy to reserve things for you, whatever you'd like.
Oh, lovely. Well, thank you so much. You're just such a nice, smiley lady.
I tried.
You have a great personality, very uplifting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa.
All right. It was great to see you again.
See you too.
Okay. And we'll be right back after this. Our movie for today is Good Will Hunting, and you are able to see that today at 3 p.m. with subtitles and then 6 p.m. without subtitles, and that is brought to you by Harvard Eye Associates. Now, a couple of things I wanted to go over regarding the outdoor courts. Now, it was announced that you are unable to play doubles, but I wanted to remind you that masks are required at all times when entering and exiting the courts. And they ask that you try to wear your mask as long as possible while you are playing. And I know that's very difficult to do. No doubles play. And if you have any questions at all, please contact Recreation at 597-4273 or email them at recreation@vmsinc.org. And then wanted to let you know that Village Golf will now be online. So it's going to have tee time reservations can be made online, and all resident golfers must register by creating a user profile. Golf management will email instructions to those who already have an email address on file, and if you don't, then you want to register at 949-597-4336. All right, let's take a look at the weather one last time. We are looking at no rain, but just some clouds, and the high of 65-49 today, 65-48 tomorrow, and then 65-48 with some clouds. So have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you again on Monday. Bye-bye.